Some stories are just so powerful, they basically become blueprints. And the tale of a deal with the devil, well, it's more than just a myth. It's this timeless warning about a bargain that offers you literally everything you could ever want, but it costs you more than you could ever imagine. So today, we're going to break that bargain down, not as some simple temptation, but as a calculated, cold-blooded case of spiritual foreclosure. Let's get into it. And look, this quote, it's everything. This is the key to the whole operation. This isn't about some generic offer of, wealth or power. No, the real genius of this kind of predation is in its precision. It's a psychological game that starts by finding that one specific vulnerability and then crafting the perfect, custom-made key to unlock it.
All right, so before a predator can even think about striking, the conditions have to be just right. So our first step here is to really understand the victim and the environment that leaves them totally exposed, basically drowning in a kind of spiritual debt that makes them desperate for any way out.
Now, here's what you've got to understand about this setting. This isn't just some historical backdrop. Reformation Germany is an active ingredient in this whole crisis. It's a pressure cooker of anxiety. The church is fracturing, all the old certainties are just gone. And that leaves an entire population just tormented by this intense anxiety over grace, damnation, and theological certainty. It is the perfect storm for a predator to roll into. And right in the middle of this storm, there he is, our target, the perfect mark. He's a proud, brilliant scholar, but that arrogance, that intellectual pride, it's not what you think it is. It's actually a defense mechanism, just this fragile shield he's built to hide a deep, crippling terror of being damned. And this slide really breaks it down, doesn't it? It's two sides of the exact same coin. On one side, you have the shield of pride, this burning desire to transcend human limitations. And on the other, the real motivation, the raw terror that comes from the crippling spiritual uncertainty of his time. This specific mix of pride and fear, well, that's the entry point. Okay, so the stage is set, the target is vulnerable. Let's see how the predator makes his move. He doesn't just offer some simple temptation. Oh no, he offers something way more sophisticated. Think of it like a bespoke financial product for the soul, one that's designed to look just like salvation. See, this is what's so brilliant about Mephistopheles' strategy. He doesn't need to create despair, he just has to weaponize what's already there. The world is full of doubt, so he offers certainty. The world imposes limits, so he offers freedom. He performs what our sources call psychological surgery, handing over the exact keys designed to unlock the scholar's own self-destructive trap. So what is this product he's offering? It has a name, Gnostic certainty. And what that really means is the promise to have all of life's biggest, most terrifying questions answered. For good. Not just random facts, but absolute, definitive insight into God's plan, predestination, the secrets of the entire universe. It is the main vector of attack, a promise to end all doubt, forever. But this offer is just one part of a two-pronged assault. Gnostic certainty gives him freedom from doubt. The second part, unrestricted freedom, gives him freedom from authority. And together, they work in perfect concert. They form this irresistible lure that speaks directly to the scholar's inner anxiety and his outer frustration. And this right here is where that predatory loan analogy just clicks into place. Imagine you're buried under dozens of confusing, terrifying debts. That's the scholar's spiritual anxiety. Then along comes Mephistopheles, the ultimate cynical banker, and he offers a master key. He says, I'll consolidate all that terrifying uncertainty into one single clear payment, absolute knowing. The relief must be euphoric. So powerful, in fact, that you don't even bother to read the fine print. And of course, it's always in the fine print. That's where the trap is. This product isn't designed to save. It's designed to bankrupt the soul. So let's take a closer look at the insidious terms and conditions of the spiritual loan. Let's be perfectly clear. The true goal here was never enlightenment. The offer of Gnostic certainty is engineered for one purpose and one purpose only, to cause a complete and total spiritual collapse. It's designed to replace the humility of faith, trusting in something bigger than yourself, with the arrogance, the heresy of absolute knowing. It's really a three-step playbook for severing a soul from grace. Step 1, replace faith with knowing, so you don't need to trust anymore. Step 2, engineer a feeling of independence from theology, so you don't feel bound by any rules.
And step 3, make the ultimate appeal to your pride, convincing you that you are finally, truly in control.
And here's the kicker, the real psychological masterstroke. By taking the deal, the victim becomes an active partner in his own destruction. That feeling of being smarter than the system, of being free from the rules, is exactly what lets him justify the whole thing. He's so blinded by this new sense of liberation that he willingly walks right into a trap he helped set for himself. So all of this leads us to the climax of the whole operation, the moment the loan is finalized. Not with a handshake, but with a signature in blood. A clear, final, non-negotiable transaction.
I mean, if you actually break down the diabolical pact, like a loan agreement, the terms are just insane. The principle is a finite, temporary period of gain, all that knowledge and freedom he wanted, but the collateral, that's the infinite value of the soul. The whole deal is built on a catastrophic imbalance, and that imbalance is the entire point of the scam.
And this is the moment where that cold, transactional contract becomes terrifyingly real. This is the moment of conscious choice. Seduced by temptations that were literally engineered for his own psyche, the scholar willingly signs away the ultimate collateral for a loan he was never, ever meant to repay. At the end of the day, this whole story is a profound warning. And it's not just about pride or heresy. It's about a kind of spiritual and financial illiteracy. Our guy is so dazzled by the promise of immediate gain that he completely fails to understand the infinite cost of the debt he's taking on. And just like any predatory loan, this one has a guaranteed outcome. The final stage isn't a surprise. It's an engineered default that was part of the plan from the very beginning. The default isn't a bug, it's the core feature of the product. That period of gain was always temporary, maybe even an illusion. Inevitably, the debt comes due, the soul gets collected, and that illusion of freedom is replaced by an eternity of servitude. That's the tragic and totally inevitable foreclosure. So let's just recap the whole anatomy of this thing one more time. First, you have the environment, which creates the vulnerability. Then the perfect target is identified. Next, an astute predator designs the attack. He uses a tailored bait, certainty, and freedom to exploit specific anxieties. This leads the target into the trap, a spiritual loan disguised as the diabolical pact. And it all leads to the engineered end, an inevitable foreclosure that hammers home the story's warning. The predator in this story didn't offer the world. He offered the perfect solution to one man's deepest, most specific fear, his terror of uncertainty. And that brings us to the final and most important question. The bait was tailored to his anxiety, so you have to ask yourself, what would be tailored to yours?